live. Welcome to Super Gamer Bros. I'm sorry you don't get Jessica Cabella's awesome intro because I didn't get one this time, but Gavin will probably edit it in later while he sits in his bunker, still hiding from the cult of Nook after he found that thing. Gavin, we keep telling you to stop finding things on Nook. Thankfully, Cynic though. Hey, Cynic.
I'm here. Hello, hello.
Yes. Also, your
Yes,
Cynic will be teaching Gavin the ways of fighting games, so you can get out of
I
all this.
exactly. I need to teach him how to build some meter, do an invincible super, and get out of there. Yeah, no one likes Nook, and no one needs to be spending that much time with him. So, get out of there,
Okay.
Gav. We love
Apparently,
you.
Gavin. Yeah, apparently Gavin's gone full team Nook on this, so we've lost Gavin to the Nook. Um,
Oh well.
but right now we are on Super Gamer Bros. Again, we apologize for the lack of intro. I actually all really enjoyed that intro.
Hey,
Jessica, thank you
it was a
for that.
beautiful intro. It was our smiling faces and voices, and what better could you ask for? It's the old intro is really just depriving people of
We, we,
us,
we are. So,
but it's all
oh,
good.
hold on. I haven't seen this.
Yes, yes. So
Oh, sorry, hold on.
you
My
while,
computer
while
decided
you
to, like,
while you pulled it up, we were just talking about what the question of the day might be,
yeah. So, sorry,
and
one of the websites decided to, like, hey, you've been on me for more than 5 seconds. You clearly want to watch a video. Like, no, no, no,
no,
no, no.
no, we don't want to do that.
No.
No,
Yeah.
that's the Netflix equivalent of, hey, you've been sitting here for too long. Here's a trailer. Like, no, I wanted to watch the rest of this movie and listen to the music and watch the credits. I don't need to watch a trailer that fast.
So, um,
So
so,
yes.
yes, but so what was the question of the week?
The question of the week that you had a great suggestion, and that was, what game series would we like to see as a TV show? Uh, I immediately, my gears immediately started turning, and so yeah, I immediately thought of Mass Effect, because Mass Effect is one of my all-time favorite narrative games of all time. I mean, going through all those games with all of your decisions intact as you play through all the titles. Plus, the story is incredible. For those who missed out on Mass Effect and only know of BioWare because of their Anthem failures, Mass Effect is what they did before Andromeda, guys, and the original trilogy is amazing. In fact, I'd give a nod to Andromeda as it is, because that's a pretty decent game after they patched it and all the glitches are gone and all that. So that was a bit of a debacle when it first came out. But Mass Effect all the way, Andromeda included. Please give me that.
So a lot of people would assume I would say Persona. I will tell you right now, there's been four Persona franchise games and animes, and no, they've all been kind of garbage in their own right. Four was the best because that one actually kind of really did lend itself to being an anime. But yeah, I don't watch Five's anime. It's bad. I know. For me, actually, I'd love to see Bioshock. I
Hmm.
would love to see a Bioshock franchise, like, about a character, the twists, the turns. Maybe not do straight up Bioshock One, but
Yeah.
definitely do Bioshock, that universe, that idea of that universe.
Well, I
Maybe not
think
so much.
you've got to introduce. I mean, if you're going to do a Bioshock series, you have to introduce the underwater. You've got to introduce the splicers a little bit. I mean, man, the iconography of the first Bioshock and the environment that they crafted was unreal. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. It wasn't like it revolutionized the shooting genre in terms of gameplay,
No, it was
but
very, very much System Shock.
it was amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
it was very System Shock, but very polished, and just it was an exercise in environmental detail. And yeah, the now what bits of the Bioshock series would you like to see make it into the show? Because if we're leaving some of that behind, man, I just can't do it without Rapture. What would you have?
I'd still do Rapture. I may not do Rapture. Like, it may not be Rapture, or it could
Mhm.
be, but definitely more on the scale of one, where you're seeing the society, you see everyone who's built it up, and basically how they've led to its own downfall. Even the good guys, the good guys of the game. I would like to see kind of the big daddies be the not so much Deus Ex, but like the neutral I would say bad guys with the neutral force of the game, where like
Mhm.
like even the splicers are like, when they get in fights, they try to avoid the Big Daddy. Like everyone just leaves the room when that thing shows up. Like they
Mhm.
know not to mess around with it, and that kind of be like a good point in the series where one of the main characters finally learns to take it down.
Yeah, well,
Um,
they were a great neutral party in the first game. I mean, honestly, I mean, they only ever attacked splicers and you, basically anybody who got near that little sister. And the only reason that you had any reason to attack them was to save the little sister, or if you're evil, which you
yeah,
rip the atom slugs out of them. But that never feels that you can never sleep too good after murdering the little sisters. Uh, I'm I'm hoping that I don't. I'm hoping that they don't have to show that in a series. I would hope they go Paragon there.
no,
Um,
sorry, no, I just got a phone call and my wife was telling me what it was about. Sorry,
no, no, that's
but
okay. That's
no,
okay. I was just at the end of my rant
no, yeah, no, I
about
love,
Big Daddies.
yeah, I like the idea of it taking place in the 40s. Like, I would like to see some of like, I don't know, I would like kind of in like the series to begin with like, hold on, I'm gonna change how this looks right now. Sorry, there. It's like I would like it to begin like right before the first beginning of the game, and then kind of go into like later on parts, like maybe even after the game, like and maybe have a villain that's not. Did you play? Was it Bioshock 2 with a woman who was trying to be like the opposite of Andrew Ryan?
Yeah, Bioshock 2, if I recall, because it's been a long time. Bioshock 2 had the woman who was trying to. I can't even remember what her goals were. It had something to do with the little sisters or the big sisters or something like that. I wish I could remember Bioshock 2 better because I
It was the
just don't.
best DLC that you spent $50 for. It
I
should have really,
I played through it. It was fun. I
it,
just didn't
it should
stick.
it should have been DLC. It really it did
Oh,
not warrant its price tag, particularly when all they did was kind of recycle a bunch of stuff. And some of the villains, to be honest, was like, "Hey, I'm fighting another version of that guy from the other level. It was over there," which
yeah,
reminded me of Bioshock
but
One being a much better game.
but you had a drill hand. How can you beat that?
I had a drill hand at the end of one, and it was slightly more effective than the drill hand I had at the entire run of two.
Well,
Um,
point taken.
um, but yeah, so no, I would love to see that, and I'd love to see that sort of. I like to also see some of the music coming out of it because I love music in certain series, particularly a bunch of the like the Netflix and HBO stuff. Like some of the music they've been making for that stuff is just like it makes me want to buy soundtracks again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I would love to see a Bioshock soundtrack made with modern artists that have to stick to that sort of era of music.
hmm
That would just
Well,
be kind of
well, that had a very good mix of like like it was like 40s, 50s inspired horror. Like a wet underwater horror. That was again just part of the atmosphere that they built for that game. Now, I would think that to push a series forward, you have to kind of introduce Rapture in there a little bit, and then to extend it and give it life forever is to introduce the whole, like, I think if you introduce the Bioshock Infinite, the parallel universe, time jumping portal, like that just gives something legs forever. If you are finally out of ideas and you're like, okay, well, it's time for time travel and portals. But
actually what I would say to do with it is what they did with American Horror Story. It's just like in this season we're in Rapture, and the next season we're like in an underground dome where like society's put itself underground because like they're afraid they same concept of Rapture. We're going to build a society based off this idea, and it's going to be all underground, or the sky, like infinite, or even start getting into like, what if someone in the 1930s built space travel,
mm,
like, then started doing it by the 1950s strip space station. So it's like, kind of 1950s technology with all the tubes and everything, but like in space.
with all the tubes in space, yeah,
It's
I
in
like
space.
that. I like that
So
idea.
yeah, so that's both of ours. I think I also know probably in the comments later Fallout's going to happen. It should be kind of cool. Fallout franchise as a TV series would be cool.
Fallout as a TV series, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'll definitely give that a nod. Especially the new. Well, of course, New Vegas is pretty infamous for having the best story, and I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, let it go back to their child. I mean, they proved Other Worlds was like, hey, what if we did Las Vegas but in space?
mm, yeah.
Maybe play Other Worlds.
Well, I mean, kind of Firefly may have done that already.
Yeah.
You
No, I'm
have a
talking about the game wise.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
You
So,
throw
but
your.
now we're good.
Oh, I was just gonna mention if you're talking about a series, a western in space, man. Those who haven't seen Firefly,
Yeah.
it's old news, but go watch it. That's Fallout, western style in space for you.
I'll also go do Cowboy Bebop afterwards. At least get it in there. So we'll go
Exactly.
next to this, which is the meme of the week. I saw this and thought of every game we've ever played. Which is, hey, I got to stealth this 5 minutes later. We've
Yeah.
all done that. I'm going to stealth this. I'm going to stealth.
Yep, just done with it. I personally do miss a purely stealth based game. I need another Tenchu in my life, which is why Ghost of Tsushima was very intriguing to me. And the fact that
Yeah.
you can just go balls out and that is fine. But man, I'd really love some stealth because that's that's usually how stealth things end up nowadays.
Did you watch that entire 18-minute video?
I did. I went back and watched it, and I'm like, it gives you options, but it's not a purely. It's not like Tenshu where you're defenseless basically if somebody spots you and you have a 3-hit combo that might or may not hit because you don't have tracking.
I
It's
think, although I do think that maybe it will lend itself to that because they showed the samurai off and then they showed the stealth off. But you saw when the stealth were like, the guy had to really be very careful about his movement. If you're kind of paying attention, he was like using firecrackers and rocks and everything. So
mm-hmm,
it may be like slow and steady versus quiet, slow and steady,
mm-hmm,
where you have to, because they even say the outfits and charms and outfits will like actually dictate what you do.
mm-hmm,
And so I kind of feel that like maybe it will have a pure stealth element. Like if you take the stealth route, you're going to have to like really think about your actions versus if you take the samurai route, you're going to have to be more the master of timing. Like if you looked at that, it was like really a lot of like, okay, here comes the guy. Oh, he's glowing. Okay, now I can do it, and I can do this. Versus
mm-hmm.
the stealth guy who was like, I'm going to go in there stab, but if anyone sees me, I am dead.
I'm gone.
Both. I mean, it's Sucker Punch Studios. It's guys who did the Infamous Sound series. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see they know what they're doing. So I don't. I can see where that could go both ways, and they made both gameplay options optional. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I also want to play this to nothing but the Kurosawa mode, as fans have called it, the black and white grainy mode. You can fill in that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, Sucker
um,
Punch does good work, so I'd be yeah. It's still one of the games like I was looking forward to it a long time ago, and I still am. It's I haven't been turned away from it at all. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
yeah. But with that, I guess we'll just move on to the news because we can
Yeah.
really. But with that, we're going to start off with some happy news because you probably want to take advantage of this while you're watching us. No, seriously, if you have this, seriously take advantage of it. Which is Civilization 6 is currently free on Epic Games.
Woohoo!
That,
Go get it.
yeah,
Go
it's
download it.
go download it and then question why you have to pee all of a sudden and eat food and why is it 1 a.m.
Exactly. And why does my head hurt? And why does my bladder hurt? And why do my hands hurt? It's
So
yeah. For those who haven't played Civ 6 or any of the Civilization games, don't knock the massive world-based turn-based combat until you've tried it. because it's pretty fantastic.
It's also it's fantastic. It's got multiple options. So if you want to be the genocidal jerk who runs around conquering every city by brute force and then eventually getting nukes and having your way with everything, you can do that. Or you can be diplomacy, or you can be cultural, or you can own every landmark in history ever.
Hmm.
And there's a whole bunch of things. And there's multiplayer to it, and no microtransactions,
No, at least
and it's free.
I hope they haven't been added because it's free, but I doubt that's the case.
Well, this one's free. The game originally did cost you $60, so
Yes,
but
and
it, it's
it came out a little while back too. So, but
it's only free for
definitely,
a week. So it's a week from this recording, which is May 21st. So until the 27th, get it. Which I know I probably am. So that's going to be awesome and great to hear.
yeah, that'll be very
Um,
cool. I don't have an Epic. I don't have an Epic account, but I'll probably go make one because hey, free game, go get it.
Actually, they've been a while for now. Give me about one game a month for free. They were the ones who also recently just gave away Grand Theft Auto 5 for free.
Oh, wow, that's
They
very
gave
cool.
Grand Theft Auto 5 and Civ 6 for free.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I don't know if that one's available. If it's just reminding me, it may not be available. But I think it's still available for a couple more days. I'm not sure. But anyway, if you're not watching this live or within a couple of days of after us posting it, probably still isn't free. Sorry.
That's okay.
On Thursdays at 8 o'clock, you'll find out about these things.
Go get it, livers.
Go get it,
Good.
Liver. Come make
Yeah.
us proud.
Don't click off this thing though. Open up another tab. Keep listening.
Yes, please do. We need our numbers in love. But until then, yeah, go get your things. But while you're downloading this thing, I've got another news headline here. And this one I had to explain, and I will explain again. It's kind of cool. G2A had to pay $39,000 to Woob Software Studios, creators of the game Factorio. Factorio, yes, they're Czechoslovakian-based company. Um, so, Seneca,
So
I know
this
you were about
yes,
like, what the hell is here?
yeah, you were explaining this to me earlier, and it I mean, it sounds like a nice place to go to get games for cheap, where you're not supposed to be able to get them that cheap, and and, and it sounds a little bit like a dick move, and they sound like dicks whenever they are explaining their reasoning behind why you can get these things for so cheap, and so
They
yeah.
never explain why they get them for cheap. They just, hey, do
Mm.
you want Doom Eternal for like $5, like a week after it comes out, or 20, or for only like 30% when the game comes out that day. So for those who don't know, G2A or Golf 2 Alpha, or I'm using thing.
Thank you for the phonetics.
No
It
props.
definitely helps.
So they basically are a storefront, much like Steam or Amazon or GameStop, that only deal with online games, like games that are online. You basically purchase the codes. Um, their codes have for years been rumored to be accused by mostly indie developers, because they're the only ones that really care. EA and them, not so much. They're making billions of dollars off these games. They're not really losing their shirts over this, but the indie guys who have to eat these costs, mostly the cost of reimbursements from stolen credit cards and everything else after this stuff gets revealed as stolen. This is the place to do it. G2A was the place to do it. I'm not being like slanderous, because right now it's been proven with $39,000 fine, $39 of their own money being removed with the proof of this. So I'm not slandering by any stretch of the imagination, because this has literally been proven. Their games have been stolen. Keys have been stolen and stolen through this website. Multiple upon multiple of indie developers. G2A smugly has said that they'll get some independent counseling to determine auditors to find this out. They apparently went through like a dozen auditors before finding one that found supposedly one that agreed with their policies. Question, but yeah, the only company that was able to legitimately apparently prove out of the dozens of companies that apparently tried to do this was one, and now everyone's going to try to have a claim on this. Is this one, and they also had a really weird time window between this point and this point, and only with this stuff, and had to go through their auditors first to prove that it was or wasn't their fault. So it was a lot of weird loopholes and workarounds and everything else. But finally, one company was able to prove that their game Factorio was in fact stolen. The actual total is actually $3,900 that they lost out of the sales, but for an indie game company that
Mm,
is big sales. But their company, G2A, said, we'll give you 10 times the money back that you lost. That's why I said I know now that was $3,900 they lost because it was $39,000 they gained.
hmm.
In a press release, smugly they said that it was basically now that this issue has been brought to light, they understand that it affects everybody, not just
Yeah,
the developers and the gamers, but everybody. And they're really sad that this is affecting people. That is them.
I'm sure they're heartbroken.
Yet
They were cut.
nobody.
They were caught. They were caught stealing, and then went, "Oh, we weren't supposed to steal. Stealing affects companies that we steal from." No.
Okay, to be fair, G2A2 is not the one who's technically stealing. They're just the storefront that's stealing. So basically,
Mm.
they go through a third party. Basically, they're trying to do the whole there's workarounds and everything else. But
So
again,
they're fence. That's what they are.
it's
They, they get the stolen codes, and they're like, "Hey, thank you for whoever you are who gave us the nice codes, you kindly gentle person, and we'll go ahead and sell these for very cheap since now we have them, and I don't know how we got them." That's
we all we know is that well, they supposedly kept saying a lot of them were promotion codes, like Factorio
mm,
and a couple of the other ones, including a couple of guys from the Devolver Digital, who we all love. They claim that they were codes that were given to them by the company themselves to be
mm.
sold at such a remarkable low rate, and then of course the company would go, "No, we didn't. That never happened. Those codes have been stolen." And so, and then of course the indie developers would have to eat the cost and everything else. Which for those
Yep.
indie developers, that's a good amount of money.
Yeah,
So yeah, no,
if you're an indie developer, and especially if you're dealing with something in another country, uh, it's there's not really too much you can do, unfortunately.
yeah. And thankfully though, a lot of indie developers are like they're trying to go to GOG and they're trying to go to Nintendo. And actually now currently Microsoft's a good bit, but like Nintendo's gotten like a lot of indie game development love recently. Like a
Mhm.
lot of indie games are on the Switch, which of course made me very happy.
Oh yeah, every time I go on the Switch store and look at their releases, it's really pretty cool just to see the crazy amount of new releases by people, and they're really polished up stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Ex-
always good. But
yeah,
yeah, that
except for that one Chopper game I bought for 99 cents. I I bought it because it looked like it was being marketed like Desert Strike or Jungle Strike, and I was like, "Oh, this helicopter game looks like that old game that I used to play," and it was super fun. And it turns out it was like a really shitty Raiden or Raiden, however you say that particular game. But shout out to everybody who didn't develop that game because you're making good games on the Switch.
Indivisible just got recently put on the Switch, which is a game I think you would actually pretty much enjoy.
Tell me about it.
It's a Kickstarter child that was actually by Lab Zero Games and published by 505. So 505 is kind of like Devolver Digital, where like they're like, "Oh, you're an indie studio. Ooh, this is really pretty and nice. You need a publisher, don't you? Here's more money. We're publishing you now, and here's some more money to finish your game and make it look good. And we're going to do a little quality control, so make sure your game actually is good." So they
Hmm.
don't actually. Other than that, they're like, "You're you. You fail, you fail, but you pass, you pass."
Hmm.
Either way, they get their money back. Um, but yeah, it's really good. It's very. Let's see if I can pull up an image of it.
Yes,
Um,
please. Images, gameplays,
I like
videos,
to make it cool, but
psychic projections.
actually, I'll
I
just
need I need to feel this game.
yeah, it's
Indivisible, you said.
hold on. I'm getting you.
So
But yeah, it's a turn-based RPG with some weird elements and also platforming and kind of a little Metroidvania
hmm,
attached to it. I know it sounds like I just added a whole bunch of words.
yeah,
Um,
it sounded like you were talking about making a game for that game creator that Gavin showed me a little while back.
but this is
Ooh,
the
well, this
game.
looks
I did a
pretty.
Google search for the images, so there's a lot of people here we got to credit. But as you can kind of see, um, it's very pretty, um, and it's got a lot of. It's very anime inspired, but it's also like it's turn based. You have a certain amount of moves, and enemies do certain things, and you have a lot of party members, and it's got some good options. And there's also like out of combat, there's dungeons, and you use actually combat moves in dungeons to like trying to find if there's a dungeon sequence.
Yeah, it looks like you're playing as Sakura from uh, Street Fighter for a second there. Except the bandana is on her waist as opposed to her head.
so,
But
but
it looks very pretty.
yeah, I was gonna try to pull up a trailer or something later, but that probably be part of. I got a two. I'll show this and another trailer that just got announced a few minutes ago, and I'm like, I haven't seen that one trailer yet, so we'll show a two-part trailer before this. We'll show the Indivisible trailer because that's a really cool game and whatnot. But and then yeah, we'll be showing a trailer that is a surprise. I
Very
think this
cool.
is gonna be because I saw this and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, I'm saving you for later because I don't know what to make of it except like, okay, you got my attention. The title is what got my attention.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, so yeah, hopefully this means more video game sellers get hold to the fires and we get a little bit better gaming industry. I know that G2A's statement was if they didn't exist, the market would still exist. It would just be like on eBay or Amazon or something. And everyone's like, yes, but Amazon has quality control. You don't. And
Mm.
eBay is eBay. I mean, eBay was always going to sell you your liver.
Yeah, you never quite know what you would get in a box from them. Um, yeah, that is pretty smarmy of them
Yeah.
to come out and sell stolen codes and then wonder why that might be a bad thing for somebody else. And it's exactly like you said. It's not going to hurt the bigger developers who this is just going to be a drop in the bucket for. They're not even going to hardly notice. But an indie developer who they need every little bit they can get, and that's going to pay everyone, go to the development of their next game, and it could really put somebody under. So, hey,
Just put Yeah, to put a reminder to this, so that Steam recently showed how a lot of indie games don't break $5,000. We just talked about an indie game company that proved they lost $3,900
mm,
and just got 39,000 back. But like, yeah, that could have been all of the games they sold, but they didn't.
yeah,
Um, that could have literally eaten all their stuff. And so we should go with happier times now. And I
yes,
told you this headline to you. Do you want to tell people what I just told you recently? I know we didn't get a chance to talk about this too much, but about the mafioso.
okay, yeah. So, Mafia 1 and 2 are getting remasters, and I was a big fan of Mafia 2 when that came out. Uh, and so I actually never got the chance to play Mafia 1. So I'd be pretty interested in actually going through 1. Playing through 2 again would be very fun, and I think it was free. I think that's why I got the chance to play it, or maybe it was on Games Pass. But uh, yeah, if Mafia 1 and 2 are coming out, I'd definitely like to try 1 just for kicks because I like 2 so much. Definitely love to play through 2 again. And I actually never got the chance to play 3. So I saw you post this article, a Mafia trilogy release date.
Yes.
Does that mean that 3 will also be remastered, or is 3 also just going to be placed in there with it?
Mafia 3 is going to be in there, but it's not remastered technically. It's just a graphics upgrade. It got released really later on.
Yeah,
so all it's getting a graphics upgrade.
it doesn't really need a remaster yet.
One particularly had to completely get rebuilt from the ground up like years ago. Like they've been rebuilding this game from the ground up. They've even added motorcycles.
Really?
Yes, which was not in the original Mafia 1. But now there's going to be Mafia 1 with motorcycles and a couple of new side stories,
Okay.
and I guess some fleshing out of what happened. So like more kind of
so it's more than just a remaster. They had to actually build mechanics from the ground up to make this thing work.
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta remember, Mafia 1 was like early PS2.
Yeah, I never did play Mafia 1. I like I said, definitely played 2, but I remember Mafia 1 coming out a long time ago. So I think if you want to appeal to people who are used to this kind of horsepower in their generation of games, yeah, gotta have a remaster, and I'm glad they're doing that. That's very cool.
So, but yeah, it's a whole 9 yards. What gets me is that you've actually priced this really well. So normally with this, you'd be like, oh, this is going to cost me what, like, how much did it cost you for the Yakuza?
Well, I'm playing it on.
Yakuza collection.
I'm playing Yakuza 0 on Games Pass right now,
Okay.
so I actually haven't paid for it yet. I probably would actually not mind looking at the price tag before it gets taken off Games Pass, because I don't think I'm not even I'm not even. I've been playing it for like a week now, and I'm not even 10% through the game. I feel like so. Looking forward to. Yeah, I might actually have to go look up the price tag and get the discount for the Games Pass while I still can.
There's actually an entire collection, which is I think 1, 2. It's Kiwami 2, which is a remake of 1 and 2, and then I think 0, and then something else, and then 7's coming out soon. So, and that's the one that starts a totally new protagonist, because without getting into spoiler territory, but the last Yakuza game 6 actually ends the main character's story. He's not going to be the main character anymore. I don't want to say why, but it is the most Yakuza way to do it.
Oh, I feel like you just spoiled a lot. I
didn't.
Oh, you jerk!
I played it, and I'm like, really? Okay,
so
there. It's good.
I have to ask, as good as Yakuza 0 is, I have been kind of interested in going back and playing some of the other ones. So if they come in a collection, that'd be great. But how do they stack up to 0? Because 0 is super good.
So 0 and 1 Kiwami. So you have to play 1 Kiwami and 2 Kiwami. And those are basically kind of running off the same engine. 2's an improvement upon 1, and 1 is an improvement upon 0. So if you like 0, you're going to like 1 and 2.
Okay.
Because the comboing and whatnot. And then I would recommend maybe playing Indivisible, which are Yakuza Justice. It was Justice. The one that was basically Phoenix Wright, but as the Yakuza franchise.
Huh.
You basically play a prosecutor who got accused of something and removed as being a prosecutor. And now you're a PI, and you have to solve an insane case of some insane murderer is running around the city, and you have to stop them. So it's very Yakuza at the same time. Like it's
okay.
It's dark when it needs to be dark, but at the same time, you have a panty thief running around trying to steal. No, you have a porn mag thief who's running around stealing porn magazines.
Nothing worse.
So you have that one dark moment. You have that one, like, really, I'm doing what?
Yeah.
There's this group that's running an AR game, because it takes place now. So there's this group that's running an AR game with zombies in it. And so you have to beat up zombies that are in an AR game.
Well, putting zombies in anything always makes things better. If people, like, for those who haven't played Yakuza and are expecting, like, Japanese Grand Theft Auto, that ain't what it is. In the slightest. I mean, they do dump you in an open world, though a bit cramped. This open world is,
Lots
but
of layers. There's a thing almost. There's like one. There's at least 4 things per street.
yeah,
Per block almost.
exactly. It's packed tight like a severely cramped city would be. So there's lots to do within very short actual spaces of I was going to say real estate, I guess, to do it in. So they really squeeze a lot out of this this kind of tiny area that you have to explore. And the combat, if folks have played like the Die Hard arcade game, it's a little smoother than that, though sometimes it feels a little clunky. Uh, but once you get kind of used to it, it's a lot of hand to hand combat is what it is. So once you kind of get used to the slight delays and clunkiness of the combat, and it really comes down to you just needing to know exactly what you're going to do and not drop the combos that you're going to do, or else it's going to make your enemies are going to punish you for it hard. And
Kiwami 1 and 2, they actually improved the combat a lot on that aspect.
That's good. That's really good to hear.
The best way I can describe what we said is think this is the very, very Japanese version of Saints Row 2 and 3. Like where it's like you have that, it's just off the wall enough where you're like, these people would never exist in real life, but they're not off the note. But you could also go, I know an asshole like this.
Yeah, from a storytelling perspective, I could definitely say like it could be pretty out there as Saints Row is, but they do still keep you grounded, and I'm definitely enjoying it. So I'll have to check out the next few iterations of it if things have been smoothed out, because I know it started out as like a PS2 Yakuza 1 through what 4 or 5 or all PS2 or Xbox. Yeah. They were back in that generation.
Mostly PS2 because it is a very, very Japan title. In fact, they didn't think it was going to succeed in the United States. Yeah. But in Japan, it's like it is the franchise. It's like one of the big. It is the Grand Theft Auto of Japan. Like literally, like, people cosplay. People like when they announce a new one, like it sells millions of copies in the first day. Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty popular.
Yeah, and for very good reason. I for whatever reason, it never grabbed me, and so I'm very glad that when I saw this on Games Pass, I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot because it's got a good reputation. I've heard tiny things here and there that are good, and man, I'm really glad I got my hands on it.
I do want to play from the same development team. I want to play the Fist of the North Star Yakuza game, Lost Paradise.
What?
Yeah, the Yakuza team made a Fist of the North Star game.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you right now, there is a bartending mini game that if you do perfection on it, you get to hear the phrase, "You're already drunk."
Okay.
It's the Yakuza team writing a Fist of the North Star video game, and it is as glorious and stupid as that sounds.
That sounds pretty awesome. I'd like to try that out. Please.
There's a demo of it out on. I think on PS4. I know there's a demo, so that means there has to be a demo for it on Xbox.
Oh, I gotta check it out on the Xbox then for sure. Yeah, and if
it's so we did kind of go to the tangent. Sorry, the cost for this game, by the way, the trilogy for the PS4 and Xbox version.
Yes, we've been talking about Mafia at the very beginning of this thing, by the way, and we went way off the rails.
Go back on track because we do need to move on, though. But the Mafia trilogy, the trilogy itself is going to be $60. So it's the definitive edition of 1 and 2, plus the definitive edition for 3. That's for both Xbox One and PS4.
I'm guessing that means all the DLCs included for all these games.
I'm going to assume so. They haven't announced DLC for 1 and 2, so but I know for 3 there is.
Okay.
Or if you want them individually. So if you're not interested in 3, or maybe you're not interested in 2, $40 for 1 definitive edition, $30 for 2 and 3 each $30 each for 2 and 3. So 40 for one, or 30 for individually one and two,
Yeah.
or 60 for all three.
Yeah, for all the open world fans, I mean, I can only really speak from Mafia 2 experience, but the experience that I had with that game was super fun. It was set in the 1950, late 1950s, 1960s or something,
Was the 50s? It's right after World War II.
right after World War II. I think your main character comes back.
I think, yeah, I think you're a war hero. I think they're trying to use your veteran status as because
Well,
you came back from, well, I mean, in the sense of like you came back from the thing, and then you have to prove yourself to the family again.
to a degree, exactly, you do, and the story is super good. The narrative is very well crafted. The actual mechanics and combat are really good. It's like I felt like when I played Mafia 2. Now this is with nostalgia goggles, having not played it for a while, but it GTA 5 hadn't come out yet at that point, but it felt like a much more well polished GTA 5 with a more grounded story, and it plays really well. So it's definitely, I mean, Mafia 2 being remastered is going to be worth my purchase by itself. So
It's only $30. So it's not really like they're not raking you over the coals for this one,
yeah,
which is really surprising. By the way, there is no collector like full trilogy for the PC, but to make up for that, the PC is definitive edition for one is $40, and same price for uh, two and three is still $30 a piece.
yeah.
So
Well,
not a bad call.
yeah, during this whole quarantine thing, it'd be nice to blow through those again.
And they are both. All of these games are coming out August 28th. So I know what my brother's getting for his birthday.
Cool.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's just gonna be so much fun.
speaking of something that's not too fairly priced, I think we touched on it a little bit back on the last episode. But man, you would think by this point I would have gone ahead and pre-ordered my Mortal Kombat Aftermath, and I just haven't. I have agreed with the rest of the internet, or the rest of the internet has agreed with me. I'm not sure which it is,
We'll go
but
with that. I mean, it's about
yeah,
time you do.
yeah, exactly. $40 is way too much for 3 characters and 5 chapters of a story. I'm more than positive they put a lot of effort into this, but to charge $40 for that is unreal, especially when the combat pack I think was $20 to $30. If you knock $10 off, you may make me happy, and but this has just left a bad taste in my mouth. I'll move on because I did talk a little bit about this last time.
I just want to say the problem is for someone like me who was like, yeah, I might play Mortal Kombat eventually. It's like $40. I get all the game plus all the other DLC characters and all the other stuff and that. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, For $59.99, you could get the Aftermath edition, which includes the full game plus the Combat Pack 1 characters plus the Aftermath and the rest of its content. So, yeah, people who are just now getting into MK11 are going to get a nice deal. Like, for me, if I wanted to participate in like Evo Online or something like that, and it's PS4, I don't have it for PS4, so the Aftermath edition might actually be worth my buck, because you get a lot of content and you save a lot of money. But man, for somebody who bought the full priced game along with the combat pack, ooh, $40 is a lot. So I'm gonna wait. This is one of the few times I'm gonna wait for my Mortal Kombat content, which is something that's never left my mouth. Mind you.
that should tell Warner Brothers something, that like you have your diehard fan who used to be part of the Austin MK group and went to these competitions and now is going, I think I'm gonna wait because you screwed me.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that they're screwing me, but there are other people who like. I'm very lucky to be employed right now,
Yeah.
and being able to work from home. But there are other people who do not have that luxury, and it's a lot. It's a lot to swallow, if you're not a hardcore fan. And so, it's not so much a problem for me as I know it's a lot of problem. It's priced a lot of people out of buying this content. So and there's also, of course, going to be a Combat Pack 2 coming, I'm sure. There's been leaks, and I don't want to get into leaks because you just never know what's going to be true and what's not. But apparently there's a roster that's been leaked for Combat Pack 2, so we'll just have to see how that goes.
It'll be interesting next year when Evo 2021 happens. Because, yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, I know they're probably going to do some online Evo matches, but...
Oh, yeah. I don't think we touched on this last time, but...
Yeah, I wanted to hear your opinion on this, because I saw a little bit about it. They did announce the lineup, or at least the roster of games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you actually know way more than I do on this one.
Well, let me just double check to see if anybody else has been added, because when I heard it announced... I'll go ahead and double check to see when it was first announced. Evo 2020 had, of course, Dragon Ball and excuse me. That Dragon Ball was a big one. Street Fighter V, Smash Ultimate was in the original lineup, and I want to say,
so it's
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 made a comeback. I don't think Mortal Kombat 11 made the cut. But let's see. Here. So here's the lineup as it stands 6 days ago. It says now. I don't know if that's the case. I saw that a little while ago that Super Smash Brothers had been taken off because I mean the game has to have on a decent online netcode. And from what I've heard, they took off Super Smash Brothers, which in this list, the reason I'm hesitating to say anything is because I still see Smash Brothers on the list. I think Killer Instinct was added because its online was really good. Again, that's not something I'm seeing in this line. So what I'm seeing here, as of 6 days ago, I'll just say it: Street Fighter V, Soul Calibur 6, Dragon Ball Fighters, Under Night in Birth EX, which I never played. I'm very sorry. I'll check it out. You did? Okay, good. Cool. So you'll have to give me some details. There's Tekken 7, Samurai Showdown, and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Now, of course, Smash Brothers isn't in that lineup. I've heard that Mortal Kombat 11 might make it in there because it's got decent online netcode, and that Killer Instinct may make it in there because of online decent netcode. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what actually ends up making it in there, and that may be the official one. Again, that list is 6 days old. That I just went and looked at.
Same image. Hold on. I can't really pull up the image that well, but right there.
Yeah, there's a few fan ones that they want, and I know Marvel vs. Capcom 2 originally was going to be in there as well, and that wasn't on the list that I just saw. I mean, the funny thing is that, I mean, this is the first opportunity that I personally would have to go and participate in Evo, because I've never been able to travel to Vegas, just due to work and family life and things like that. I'm sure if I made it a priority, I would have gone, but to date, I just haven't. So this could be interesting. The only game I would really play and really know my way around would be Dragon Ball Fighters, at least in this current lineup. But if they added, of course, MK11 to it, that might work. I'd like to take a look at an updated list and just get a definitive, because it seems like this thing changes. If that's the official lineup right there, hey, that's fine. I personally don't think that Mortal Kombat 11 is balanced enough for Evo right now. Yeah. I also think that NetherRealm is kind of just doing its own thing by setting up their own tournaments, but I think missing out on it's my interpretation of like Nintendo not showing up at E3. They're like, we can do this without it. We can do this without it. But Evo is huge, and so I would hope that they would have made more of an effort to get in there.
There's a
But
difference
it's
though between Evo, which is about the spirit of fighting games and bringing everyone together at the championship, and E3, which is a celebration of glut. Let's be fair. We love the trailers and we love everything else, but it really is a celebration of the gaming industry, telling you how much awesome it is.
yeah, I'll agree with you there. I would definitely say Evo is in the spirit of fighting games and competition more. It's definitely more something I wouldn't travel to like E3. I'd go to Evo in a heartbeat if I had the opportunity to. But uh,
A friend
I,
of
I
friend of
wouldn't
mine
go. A friend of yours, what now?
is gone.
Oh, you went
He's
to one.
no, he a friend of mine did.
Yeah,
He's like it is. He's a huge fighting game fan. He's like it was like he's like I was. He's like been to anime conventions and like big ones, and he just always loves going. But he's like if I had to drop every anime convention every year to go to Evo, he would.
yeah. And it would just be fun to play with people who love fighting games and yeah, really, I mean, I wouldn't go there expecting to win at all. I'd go there hoping that I don't go 0-2. 2-2 would be nice. Breaking even would be nice. Being positive would be even better. But
I
just playing with everybody would be great, and the atmosphere.
I would make the joke if I lost to the guy who would eventually take first place. I'd be like, "Hey, I lost to that guy.
So
What
that
do you
guy.
expect? This is the
Well,
world champion. I lost to him."
Well, the funny thing is, when I first went to an offline tournament, it was called Absolute Battle, and it was for Injustice One, like a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
And
you just mentioned long.
yeah. And so I loved Injustice. I was balls deep in that game. I loved the first game. Unfortunately, they took away one of my characters in two, and two was they added a few characters that were maddening and repetitive and drove me crazy. But so I didn't enjoy two nearly as much. But so I go to Absolute Battle. I queue up. One of the people who I'm there with goes, "Hey man, do you know who you're playing?" And he's like, "Have you looked at the tournament yet? Do you see who you're playing?" I said, "No, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna go wing it." And they're like, "Really?" They're like, "Oh, you're brave. All right." And I'm like, "Dude, it's just like I'm gonna go fight somebody, and it's fine. Like it's like I'm gonna go to my online ranked match and pit search, and we're gonna play whoever we play." So I end up fighting a guy named Chris G, who is a Evo winner of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, a game so insane that my brain can hardly process it. So I end up fighting him for my very first time. So I actually did kind of have that experience. So the next guy I fought I didn't do so well against him either, but yeah, I was very, very surprised that I had to fight Chris G on my very first tournament that I ever went to. So that was pretty damn funny.
It'd be like me like playing one of the Arc Historic games, and then like all of a sudden you're fighting Sonic Fox. I'm like, well, this fight's already over.
Yeah, let me just.
The sentence ended with me dying.
Well, the funny thing was, is I sat back and like I was so, and it was also on stream. Like it was on the projector, it was on stream. Most of these tournaments don't take place on the stream. That's where they just have their. If you're on the bracket or you're fighting somebody who's a big name, they'll be like, "Hey, you're going on stream," So my first fight in my first tournament ever, and I go on stream versus Chris G, and I was so locked up and so petrified that he just beat the dog shit out of me in my first round. My second round, I went, you know what? To hell with this. Let's do it. And I did much, much better. Unfortunately, I was not used to offline. I was only ever used to playing online, so my combos just all got dropped. But the nice thing is, for nobody who's ever been to a tournament or if you're thinking about going, just go. Just practice your offline combos first before you go. But go. They're just people. They're just they play the game too. So if you're good, go for it. Why not? And if you lose, you lose, and try again. Play some casuals. Just have fun.
So before we get to Trailer Corner or the Trailer Park, I have a new game that got announced this week earlier that was coming live, going to finally end up on the PC. which has been a big deal for everybody, and that is Fantasy Star Online 2 next week on the 27th will officially be on PC. Um,
Hi.
as you see, it's your very anime Devil May Cry style combat as an MMO, and yes, you get to go have some fun. It's going to be free, and it's going to be on the Microsoft Store for PC. Finally, for free. After 8 long years, we finally get
Yes.
this on PC.
Very cool. Oh my God. There's Gavin's characters.
Yep. And so I already call it that this is probably going to be one of our Sundays, is us all getting on Fantasy Star and beating the crap out of some monsters. Because, if you've seen some of the boss fights and everything in this game, it's pretty intense. But I know on the 27th, which is next Wednesday, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be playing that up to the minute I have to go online for fan service.
There you go. Yeah, I know that Gavin was real excited for it, and I managed to finally finish downloading that before it went offline for the beta. But I went off online and just watched some videos afterward since I've just missed it. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of good, just hack and slash, bright lights, and anime ridiculousness.
For anyone playing it.
Yeah,
This game definitely will induce it. Yeah, and there's lots of classes and lots of variants. One character can be every class. You can just level them up.
Yeah, that works for me. That's very respectful of my time.
Yes. So it's gonna be fun. It will be seeing again. We'll probably be streaming that as a group. I know I'll be streaming it on day one, so that will be one of my things.
Very cool.
Which is probably saying that I may or may not be here next week.
Will you be sick?
I would be down with the fever, the PSO fever.
Yeah.
But it's Ryan Gavin that we hit him in the basement while he was hiding from Nook. Okay.
There you go.
But yes, so yeah, that's been everything. So first I want to show the trailer that I'm like, okay, interesting. And this got revealed yesterday, and I just found out about it today. And you're probably wondering what the hell, because you can't see it.
I am. I got the eyebrow going up here, and or both are. That's very unprofessional. Just one.
I'm going to hit this button.
I'm just gonna practice the eyebrows until you're ready. There we go.
Do you see the title of that?
Atari.
No, the game title. This is Missile Command Recharge Rockets. This is a new Missile Command game.
Oh, is that what we have here?
Yes. We have a new Missile Command game.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, nobody does. Like, that is with levels and item boost and everything else. This is going to be on the Epic Store and on the Switch. So, yes.
Okay. Well, very cool.
Like I said, I saw that. I just saw the title. I did not see the game or anything else. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it looks very faithful to the old Missile Commands, which I admittedly was never very good at, but I have dumped a little bit of change into that game in this time.
$5.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, 1980s, $5, sir.
Yeah,
you were the catch me. I was a kid.
That was a lot of money, and considering that games back then only were like a quarter, to play, they were precious.
So yeah, it's the fact there's a leveling system and you can get your missiles go faster, which means there's going to be a meta for the game. So I can just see the forums down going, noob, you have to put 5 points into your speed and 3 points into explosion size.
Yeah, and it looks like there was a little bit of a multiplayer aspect to it for sure. And
yeah,
I'd love it if there was like an online multiplayer aspect to it, because honestly, I know I ranted and raved about Streets of Rage 4 last time, and I think that one of the reasons that I still am playing it, and I've already beaten the hell out of the game, I've smashed through it several times, and I think the only reason I'm still playing it is because the online is really good. So if you want to keep throwing retro stuff at me and give it a good online net code, keep doing it, because I'm loving it.
Did you see? Have you played? Was it River City Girls?
No, I've never heard of River City Girls. Show it to me.
That one I'll have to show you later, all like off the line or whatnot. So,
I suppose
um,
we're about to go over, aren't we? Well,
we
there's
are, but I'm fine with a little bit of over. We also went a little bit under.
sure. Well, there's
Um,
only one thing that I think the only other thing I wanted to address was that, of course, Dragon Ball Fighters, which is a game I haven't touched, admittedly, in a while.
yeah.
They released Ultra Instinct Goku. For anybody who has cared or been waiting for them to release Ultra Instinct and they haven't cared about anything else, then he's finally in the game, and he's a little, I wouldn't say overpowered, but he's got a lot of tools. And so go watch some Ultra Instinct Goku gameplay if before you go download it, or just if you already have the fighter pass, just go download it and go into the lab and have fun because he's a weird character.
So here's the final trailer I'll show because they said, "Hey, have you heard of this game?" And you're like, "No," and I'm like, "Okay, I have to show this off because this was kind of cool, and this also is on the Switch now. So please go get this because it's awesome and good." Well, I'm gonna add to full screen.
The World of Loka. Ooh, okay. This was and what was it? Indomitable? Not Indomitable. Started with an I. Indivisible. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a platforming. You have to have skills, and different characters do different things. Unlock more areas. Yeah, over 20 characters. So and yeah, for portraits. This was a Kickstarter game that made a lot of people very, very happy. And as you can see, it did really well. And some of the boss fights are pretty intense, actually. And let's see.
So they've got a lot of crossovers in there.
That's yeah, cool. A lot of people love this game and gave it a lot of love. So, but yeah, I won't say who that is, but that's important later on. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, never mind. But yeah, that's Indivisible.
Indivisible. I'll definitely be checking that out. It kind of reminds me of Child of Light, where it was a 2D kind of platformer, and then it went into a very very well detailed turn-based RPG. But that looks like this looks a lot faster and a lot smoother. Child of Light was very smooth, but it was definitely a chill kind of float around and find your way around kind of game. This looks a lot more fast-paced, and it has a lot more weight to it. So it looks very cool.
Yeah, your characters have a certain number of skills they can use per turn. So it's about comboing, and you can actually combo characters. They're set to the buttons. You have 4 characters, you have 4 buttons, and you can actually like combo them and get them to do certain things by using certain powers or certain attacks in a certain order.
Okay, so that seems very cool.
And yeah, as they said, there's like 12 playable characters, and they all do something different.
Wow. Okay. Well, I like that. I like that a lot.
So, Cynic, where can people find you if people want to watch you on stream or playing games?
Hockey. If folks want to see me, they'll have to find me as Henzar, Henzzar, and that will be on PlayStation. That'll be on Xbox. Every so often, I stream on Mixer or stream on Twitch, but you can usually find me on the Xbox if I'm on. So it's Henzzar. Find me, fight me, have fun.
Fight you, and then you can claim you need an achievement that says "I beat Cynic."
It won't be that hard to get. It'll be fun.
It will be common, but it still be loved. You know, people will be like, "I beat Cynic."
Well, yeah.
I'm on Mixer and Twitch under Pocky _ KLM. Now you can find me as Pocky D on Steam. And I'm trying to remember what I am. I think I'm Pocky FBTV still on PS4. Because PS4 is a real pain in the butt to get your name changed.
Yeah, mine still hens are on PS4. It's
Played a
fine.
lot of Monster Hunter recently, which is something we didn't go into what we've been playing, but
Oh
I
yeah,
figure we're kind of all like right now, kind of in that infinite loop of games, kind of stuck circling until more games come out or better. But yeah, lately
yeah.
I've played a lot of Monster Hunter and Diablo, so you can find me there.
Those are both super great games. I mean, Monster Hunter especially got a lot of my attention when it first came out.
Oh,
Uh,
they've only been adding more to it. The Final Fantasy DLC to it. They added Bahamut from 14. That's a boss fight. You
wow.
turn your, the bug creature and the bug weapon. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
You
think I know
turn
what
into
you're
a
talking about.
dragon. The bug turns into a little white dragon that floats around and hits enemies.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's a hell of a fight. I was watching someone fight it for like 35 minutes,
Ugh.
and they
Yeah,
almost died. They
that's
almost lost the fight.
that's
They were down to
painful.
one last KO.
That is painful.
So, but yes, we'll let you guys go. We thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully next week Evan will be here. If not, it will be us just being silly and weird because we can't do that. And until then, we thank everyone for watching.
For
Say
sure.
good night.
Take care, guys.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
for.
Good night.
All right.